Today's lesson is about the coordinate system. You're going to learn how to plot a point or an ordered pair on an XY coordinate plane, and you're also going to learn some key terms that are going to help you label all of the parts of a coordinate plane. Let's get started. Here are your key terms. So I want you to take a minute and hit pause and read these. And when you're done, I'm not going to read over them with you. What I'm going to do is bring up a blank coordinate plane, and we're going to label all of its parts. So go ahead and hit pause, and then when you're done, you can hit play again. Here are the parts of the coordinate plane. So before we label them on a blank one, what I do want to go over with you is that the coordinate plane has different names. Instead of calling a coordinate plane, you can call it a few other things. You can call it a coordinate grid, a coordinate system, or you can call it a Cartesian plane because a man named René Descartes came up with the coordinate plane when he was trying to describe how to find the exact location of a spot on a wall without actually pointing it out to somebody. Okay, so let's label the parts of the coordinate plane now. So here's a blank coordinate plane, which is made up of two number lines. There's a horizontal number line, which runs from left to right, and a vertical number line, which runs up and down. Those two number lines are called the x-axis and the y-axis, and they're labeled with an x or a y. The x can go on the left or the right side of the number line here, and the y can go at the top or bottom of this number line here. The x and y-axis intersect where each one has a value of 0. That location is called the origin. The origin is written by putting two zeros in parentheses with a comma between them, and it's called the origin because that's where you begin when you plot a point on a coordinate plane. The last thing I want you to notice is that when you have two number lines that intersect like this, it creates four sections. Those sections are called quadrants. Quadrant 1 is in the top right section, and quadrant 1 has positive x values and positive y values. We can remember the other three quadrants easily by starting in quadrant 1 and making a counterclockwise circle around the coordinate plane. If I do that, I start in quadrant 1, and the next quadrant I go to is the top left. That is quadrant 2. Quadrant 2 has negative x values and positive y values. If I continue my counterclockwise circle, the next stop is the bottom left. That is quadrant 3. Quadrant 3 is made up of negative x values and negative y values. I conclude my counterclockwise journey by ending in the bottom right section. That is quadrant 4. Quadrant 4 has positive x values, but negative y values. Now let's use all of this information to start plotting points on the coordinate plane. Points are written by putting two numbers inside of parentheses just like this with a comma between them. And that's called an ordered pair. A pair means two, so an ordered pair is two numbers in parentheses that we use to find a location on the coordinate plane. The first number is called the x-coordinate, and that helps you figure out whether you should move left or right on the x-axis. The second number is called the y-coordinate, and that tells you whether you should move up or down on the y-axis. So start at the origin, like you're supposed to, like I told you before, you always start at the origin, and use the x-coordinate to find 4 on the x-axis. 4 on the x-axis is to the right of 0, so I'm going to move to 4. Now I'm going to use the y-coordinate to find out where 2 is on the y-axis. 2 on the y-axis, if I move from my location here up 2, I can stop at 2 on the y-axis. So the ordered pair 4, 2 is located where the red dot is. It's right to 4 and up to 2, and where those two numbers intersect right here is where the ordered pair is located. Now let's practice some more. Hit pause on your video, try to find the location of these 4 ordered pairs, and then we'll go over it together in a minute. Let's start with question 1. The ordered pair 3, 2 has to be plotted by starting at the origin, just like we always should, and using the x-coordinate of 3 to move to 3 on the x-axis. Moving to 3 on the x-axis would be moving to here. The y-coordinate is 2, so just like the last problem, we're going to go up to 2. 2 is above 0, if you remember the word above from the integers unit. So the ordered pair 3, 2 is located right here, right 3 and up 2. Now let's try number 2. The ordered pair is negative 4, negative 2. Negative 4 on the x-axis is to the left of 0, because that's where all the negative numbers are, so I'm going to move over here. And then negative 2 on the y-axis is down, it's below 0, so I'm going to move down to negative 2. So negative 4, negative 2 would be going left 4 and down 2. Now let's try number 3. If I start at the origin and look at the x-coordinate, the value is 1. So I'm going to move to the right to where 1 is on the x-axis. The y-coordinate, though, is 0. What that means is I don't have to move up or down because 0 on the y-axis is right here, and I'm already at that location up and down vertically, so I'm just going to stay where I am. So 1, 0 is just moving over to the right 1, but not moving up or down at all. Question 4 is -1 and 1.5. So I'm going to start at the origin. Now I'm going to move left to -1 because that's where it is on the x-axis, and then up to 1.5 because 1.5 is positive. So y is up and down. I'm going to move up to 1. 1.5 is right between 1 and 2. I'm going to put it there. One thing you should always do when you put multiple points on a coordinate plane is number them. Sometimes the ordered pairs will have letters and you can letter them instead. We don't have letters here, so what I'm going to do is take question 1 and I'm going to find out where that is, 3, 2. I'm going to put a number 1 next to it. Question 2 is -4, -2. I'm going to put a 2 next to that one. Question 3 was right here, so I'll put a 3 next to that. And question 4 is here. So now you don't need to redo each question to figure out where it is. You can just look at the numbers you put with them. The last thing I want to talk about is what quadrant each of these ordered pairs is located in. Question 1 is in the top right section, and if you remember, that was quadrant 1. That's where we always start when we number our quadrants. So this is quadrant 1. Question 2, -4, -2 is down here. So if this is quadrant 1, that means this is quadrant 2 with our counterclockwise circle. This is quadrant 3. So question 2 is in quadrant 3. Let's do number 4 next. Number 4 is right here. I just counted this quadrant a second ago. If this is quadrant 1, counterclockwise circle, this is quadrant 2. So question 4 is in quadrant 2. The last one's kind of tricky though, because it's right here. Some of you guys may think it's in quadrant 1, some may think quadrant 4, some may think 1 and 4, some may think neither. What do you think the correct answer is? The way I usually describe this in class is I try to think of quadrant 1 and quadrant 4 as yards or houses. Let's say that quadrant 1 is your house and quadrant 4 is your best friend's house. And you guys live across the street from each other. The x-axis is the street. If you were trying to walk from your house to your friend's house, and you are right where this red dot is, where point 3 is, whose yard would you be in? Would you be in your yard, or would you be in your neighbor's yard or your friend's yard? Well, the answer is you wouldn't be in any yard. You're on the road. If the x-axis is the road, you're on the road. So what that means is you're not in a quadrant. So if I asked you to identify the location of question 3, you would say it's on the x-axis. So if you have an ordered pair like number 3, where one of the two ordered pairs or one of the two coordinates is 0, the ordered pair will either be on the x-axis, which is the horizontal one, or the y-axis. Question 3 happens to be on the x-axis. If both coordinates are 0, then you'll be located right at the origin. So that's today's lesson. Hopefully that was helpful. Feel free to rewind, reuse the video when you're studying or doing homework, and I'll see you next time.